the lighting for this video might not be the best because I usually record with natural lighting and the sun is kind of setting right now, but I kind of wanted to take this chance to record a video, basically what it's like to date with alopecia. And I'm going to start by telling you my experiences, and then I'm going to get into basically advice. Things that I wish I'd done, or things I wish I'd known at the time of these specific stories, and maybe you can learn from them and not make the same mistakes that I did. So, I was never really much of a dater in high school. My current boyfriend, as weird as this may sound for some people, is actually my first boyfriend. So I didn't have my first boyfriend until I was 19. But I still had gone on a couple dates in the past, and even if the guy was really, really great, at the end of the date, I would just be thinking, how am I going to tell him about having alopecia and how will he react? That would be my biggest concern. No matter how cool the guy was, I was like, he's probably not going to accept me once I tell him. So honestly, part of the reason I didn't date was because I was so afraid to tell potential boyfriends about this. I knew that if I did date them, I would have to open up to them at some point, and I wanted to avoid this so much that I just didn't do it. And I would basically just like say goodbye to the guy just because I didn't want to tell him about having alopecia. That is the first piece of advice I would give you, is that don't be afraid of their reaction. A, they're probably not going to react badly if you tell them you have alopecia or wear wigs, and B, if they do, then they're not someone you want to be dating in the first place. If someone is actually going to reject you because you have alopecia, then clearly they're not the best person for you. That's absolutely ridiculous. But of course, this was how I thought at the time. You have to be able to accept yourself first before you expect someone else to accept the fact that you have alopecia, so if they're gonna accept you, then that's great. If they're not, then you definitely don't want to be dating that person in the first place. So yeah, in high school I just avoided dating because of having alopecia, and I'm not gonna say I missed out on much. Honestly, I'm not sad that I didn't date throughout most of my life. It's sad that the reason is because I was insecure and didn't want to open up to a guy about these kind of things. So now let me tell you about how I ended up opening up to my current boyfriend about having alopecia. Basically, for the first long time that we were seeing each other, I didn't tell him. And he might have known. I have no idea if he actually knew or not. He might have just figured it out on his own, but I actually was never able to tell him to his face. We were seeing each other in the beginning right around the time that I posted a Facebook status about having alopecia. What I did is, when I wanted to kind of come out about it, I just wanted to tell as many people as possible, so I made a Facebook status about it. And that's how he found out. So that was kind of really lame of me that I couldn't just tell him, but that's how insecure I used to be about it, is that I couldn't even tell him to his face without getting horribly nervous. So unfortunately, I actually robbed myself of the experience of opening up to him about this, which is kind of sad, but I did what I had to do, and I'm glad that I eventually got it over with, because I thought that I would never be able to tell him, but obviously, if we were going to start dating, he had to know at some point. So even after I told him, for a very long time, he never saw me without my wig, and I was still afraid to change wigs in front of him. The first Halloween after we started dating, I was BMO for Halloween, which is a character from Adventure Time, and for my costume, I wore a blue wig. And even though we were already dating at that point, I avoided seeing him because I was too afraid to even see him wearing a different wig. Even though he already knew I had alopecia and wore wigs, I was still afraid for him to see me in a different wig. But now, almost a year later, now I can be around him without even having a wig on at all, and that's an amazing experience. That's something I never ever thought I would have with someone I was dating. I thought that even if someone I was dating knew, that I wouldn't be able to take it off in front of them, but with him, it's like I don't even notice, which is really, really great, and he seems not to care at all, so thank you for that if you're watching this video. If you're in the place where you're thinking that you can't open up to someone about this, it may take time for you to do it, but you can, because I did, and I definitely thought that I would never be in that position. Basically, you just have to jump in and do it, and if they happen to react weirdly, then that's not someone you want to be dating anyway. Honestly, it kind of gives you a really good BS meter, because you kind of get through all the BS right away. If they're the kind of guy that's going to judge you based on appearance, you know immediately, and then you also know immediately that's not someone you want to be dating, so it helps you. It helps you find someone that is genuine. It's really such a minor thing that if someone is really that appalled by it that they wouldn't date you for it, then not a big loss on your part. So I hope it's helped some of you guys that are concerned about dating with having alopecia, or if you just wear wigs or other hair loss issues. It just comes down to the fact that it'll eventually help you find the right person for you. And if someone is not going to date you because of it, then you know instantly that they're not the right person and you move on to the next one. I hope this was good advice for you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you have any questions or your experiences. Would be interesting to hear. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video.